Ilikuwa ni last year, pia KWS wakiwa na bunduki wakakuja.
Around 15 people from that area have disappeared.
It is not belief. We can demonstrate that the government is actively suppressing information that will lead to the capture of government officers.
Do you think that there is a culture of impunity that exists within the Kenya Wildlife Service?
I'm not answering your question.
I'm asking if the Kenya Wildlife Service will investigate the
This
claims.
interview's over. I've had enough of you, so piss off.
We're in Nairobi National Park. We're about to see what 105 tons of ivory looks like.
This is history's largest ever ivory burn, organised by the Kenya Wildlife Service to usher in an end to the lucrative global trade. It's the work of Kenyan-born conservationist Dr Richard Leakey, who's done more than anyone to preserve the nation's wildlife.
Ivory traded legally will encourage the illegal trade.
He's returned to chair the KWS after a 20-year hiatus, and his global influence has attracted the attention of the world. Celebrities including Liz Hurley are here, along with US Ambassador Bob Godek and the former Deputy Secretary of State Heather Higginbottom.
This is a pretty insane spectacle for an environmental organisation. 105 tons of ivory up in flames, and that smell is acrid. It's a powerful statement to the watching media.
This is almost all the ivory the Kenyan authorities have seized over the last quarter of a century, and it could
With
have been
hundreds
sold.
of press in attendance, this is the public face of the KWS, which patrols Kenya's national parks to protect its elephants and rhinos, and does so with the support of the West. But none of those invited to attend could possibly know that hundreds of miles away, beyond the spectacle, innocent people are allegedly being killed by the Kenya Wildlife Service.
I was born in conservation. We could see 500 or 400 elephants just roaming, close by. But nowadays it's so rare because they've been wiped. We shall win this war for everybody.
We're on patrol with Kenya Wildlife Service rangers, and we're hoping to catch a small glimpse of what it means to be in a war on poaching. It's a difficult and dangerous job. Between 2 or 3 rangers are killed by poachers each year, and if they see a suspect, they're authorised to use lethal force.
In cases whereby you come across indicators that there's poaching or likely poaching of somebody with a gun, and we don't know your business, I think you will be in for it.
You'll be killed.
I don't say you'll be killed. You'll be a small customer.
Since 1989, the Kenya Wildlife Service has had a shoot-to-kill policy. Rangers trained by the British and US military are authorised to kill armed poachers who set foot inside its national parks. It's controversial, but it's been effective, and they're backed by dozens of Western NGOs and partners. But the KWS sometimes strays outside of the parks and into neighbouring roads and villages. They claim these communities are harbouring poachers. They have no powers to kill here. But the villagers believe they are behind dozens of mysterious abductions and disappearances, and many of the victims, they say, are completely innocent. Dr Leakey implemented the shoot-to-kill policy in 1989.
Dr Richard Leakey doesn't mind being called the Rambo of the conservationists as long as it scares off the poachers.
And with his return, the communities hoped he would bring the rangers under control.
Why have you decided to return?
I came back with an intent to clean house, and I was brought back to do just that. The President of Kenya asked me to serve as chairman for 3 years and to use my influence and experience and connections
to try and put the thing back on its feet. And I think it's rapidly getting onto its feet.
What qualities do you think are necessary to be the leader of the organisation?
I think you need strong leadership. You need impeccable integrity. You cannot have a skeleton in your cupboard in terms of mismanagement or financial impecunity.
But 2 weeks after Leakey's appointment, in May 2015, eyewitnesses accused KWS rangers of picking up 3 men travelling on a road outside Meru National Park. They were never seen again. And for the communities, this was the last straw. They decided to stage a protest to draw Leakey's attention to the disappearances. But it didn't end peacefully. A local official told us what happened next.
Ilikuwa ni last year, tarehe 18 mwezi ya 5. Kuna wavijana wetu na wachungaji walikuja hapo, walileta mali hapa, ng'ombe, mbuzi, na kuna wavijana ambao walikuwa na maandamano walikuja mpaka hapo. Alafu watu ya KWS wakiwa na bunduki wakakuja na kupiga hao wavijana na bunduki. Kuwa kijana moja na kujeruhi vijana 14. Bill imetusumbua. Mpaka sasa kuna vijana ambao hawajapona.
This is his leg. He was shot and he was lying on bed, and his leg is this one.
Salad was shot in his right leg here.
The bullet inside here.
Here.
Was removed.
And also this man was shot here. He was shot here.
Was there any warning before they started shooting?
They didn't give us any warning. They started shooting up. After a while, and the aeroplane came down. It's like giving them orders. Then they fired at us. We ran, but they are firing still.
People from the West, from America, from England, think that the KWS is a good organization, that it protects the animals.
Wako na policy mbaya. Hawajali maslahi ya wananchi. Nataka coordination ama communication from the Leakey.
The KWS said it was present at the demo, but denied shooting into the crowd, making the situation unclear. But we found a police officer who was called to the scene, and he backed up the claims of the protesters. He didn't want to be identified for fear of reprisals.
We collected around 50 to 70 cartridges of ammunition there, you see?
50 to 70?
Yeah.
So that suggests that they were just spraying automatic?
Yeah. Because it was mounted somewhere. They are down those 2 acacia trees. This one they had mounted machine somewhere here. Yeah. Because this is where we collected the cartridges. Yeah. You see, it was like, from the look of the things, the way it was, just like it was mounted facing that direction. You see, over that side.
Can you think of any operational reason why the Kenya Wildlife Service would fire an automatic assault rifle to the crowd over here?
Fire to them because if you attacked, obviously you'll defend yourself.
Did you find any spent cartridges on the other side?
No.
Did you find any signs at all that they were armed on the other side?
No.
And so if it was the Kenya Wildlife Service firing into an unarmed crowd, as they've told us, that would not be a proportionate response?
It won't be a proportionate.
The 18-year-old who was killed was Mohammed Abduba, a cattle herder and one of several bystanders caught in the shooting, along with 3 of his animals. We spoke to his father. The longer we stayed in Kinna, the more people came forward with their stories of injury and abduction. They want compensation so they can pay their hospital bills, but the KWS has consistently denied involvement, and to date no ranger has stood trial for the protest shooting. A few weeks after the protest, one of the organisers, Mohammed Sheikh Abdullahi, became the next man to be allegedly abducted.
We're in Isiolo to meet Daoud Yusuf, a local Kenyan journalist who's been investigating disappearances in the region. Hey, Daud.
Hi, Ivan.
Could you give us a little background about Mohammed's disappearance?
According to the family, they were traveling from Meru, heading Isiolo. Then when they were followed by a vehicle, they suspected. And then Mohammed conferred with his sister, with his wife and brother that we're being followed. Do I stop? The wife said yes. He stopped, and then he was taken out of the car, bundled into another vehicle. But before then, he told his wife that if I disappear, the persons who are taking me are KWS. Since then, the family have tried to go to court, find justice in different levels of the government, but that has not been the case.
Why do you think it was the Kenya Wildlife Service who took Mohammed?
When Mohammed disappeared, the phone was tracking with the CID here, Isiolo police station. The phone was around the KWS camp.
Do you believe he may still be alive somewhere?
I believe you. You had to tell me that Mohammed is alive now. Mohammed is not a poacher. He's just a businessman.
Mohammed's family took the KWS to court over his disappearance, but the KWS denied all involvement and the case stalled. We quickly realized that despite dozens of accusations, disappearance cases rarely made it to court, and convictions were unheard of. We wanted to know why, so we went to meet the family's lawyer.
The police initially cooperated fully with the family. We had information from Criminal Investigations Department in Meru and Isiolo that Mohammed was last seen with known KWS officers. The last telephone contacts traced them together. That information was undisputed.
So you have evidence obtained from the police that clearly shows that the Kenya Wildlife Service was responsible for this abduction?
Beyond doubt, including the name of the KWS officer. When we provided that information in court, the court ordered Safaricom to come and bring that information formally. That is the point at which now KWS denied.
You believe the government is actively obstructing the production of crucial data that would link the KWS
It's not a question of belief. It is not belief. We can demonstrate that the government is actively suppressing provision of information that will lead to the capture of government officers involved in murderous activities.
And why do you believe the government want to suppress this information?
It will expose the extent of the disappearances. They do not wish to provide that information because it will open a Pandora's box.
Frustrated by the lack of justice, Mohammed's brother Arden and his wife Mulki decided to show us the spot where Mohammed was abducted. They were several kilometers outside the national park when it happened, and they wanted us to understand what they'd been through.
Tulitoka asubuhi kutoka Isiolo pamoja. Sasa Mohamed aliangalia kwa side mirror akanimwambia kuna gari inanikimbiza. Sasa nikamwambia kama kuna gari na kukimbiza usimame. Basi Mohamed alipopata maneno yangu akasimamisha gari yake hapa. Dakika ya mwisho niliangalia na chini ya bonnet ya gari hivi nikaona Mohamed wanaanza kuweka bingo. Nikauliza mmoja, kwa nini unashika hiyo mtu unaweka bingo? Wakanimwambia tunahitaji yeye. Nikamwambia bisata mimi simuongeze tu nimpate. Wakanimwambia tukutaki, tunataka yeye. Ile imeniweka kwa kichwa, wale walichukua Mohamed. Wale mimi sikudhani kwamba kama serikali ya Kenya anatuacha mimi na hii msichana ndani ya hii msituni akatunyang'anya kifunguo ya gari na ametunyang'anya kijana, na ile hali mahali ametuacha hapa na wakati hiyo ni usiku. Hata kama huyu amekosea, hata kama huyu ni mshikwa, wangefaa kutupeleka mahali station ya serikali hiko wachukue ile mtu wanataka watuachie sisi pale pahali ya security. Kwa hivyo wale wametukujia kama serikali, lakini ni wajambazi waliiba kijana wetu na hatujui mahali iko. Tangu nani?
As word of our investigations spread, we were soon receiving calls from all over Kenya alleging more crimes committed by the KWS.
Over a period of around 4 years, around 15 people from that area have disappeared, which we suspect that the KWS were involved in the disappearance of those people. We know they have been killed, and we didn't even find their bodies.
So it's this crazy situation we're finding ourselves in. We're getting phone calls from MPs, from senior officials in the communities around Meru National Park, around Isiolo, who are all saying that it's not just Kinna, it's many communities all over the place, that many people are being disappeared, are being maimed, are being tortured. And they're all saying the same thing to us, that the Kenya Wildlife Service is committing these crimes and it's not being brought to book. It's our last day in Nairobi, and we're heading back to Richard Leakey's office to ask him about the abuses allegedly committed by the KWS. We travelled to some of the communities around Meru National Park that are alleged to have been involved in poaching. What we found were people who said that they had been intimidated, in some cases tortured and disappeared by the Kenya Wildlife Service. Are you familiar with those accusations?
Well, yes, I've heard those stories, and I think a number of people on the KWS side were picked up and indicted for that. And I certainly, as chairman, would not allow that to happen.
The Kenya Wildlife Service has always denied the accusations. Do you mean to say that you believe that they have been involved in disappearances?
The fact is that men with weapons who are feeling very frustrated because they can't get court convictions and they can't get this and they can't get that, sometimes foolishly, immorally, wrongly, take the law into their own hands. And that should never happen, but it has happened, and I'm sure it'll happen again. But we want to make sure it happens less and less as we go forward.
Some of the incidents have happened while you've been chairman, some of them as recent as May and June last year. Don't you feel accountable for?
Well, I feel accountable for the Kenya Wildlife Service, but I think there has already been an investigation. I don't think the results were sufficiently conclusive. I don't think it was handled properly last May. The director who was in the office at that time did go out and he did talk to a lot of people, and I understand that the conclusion was not satisfactory. That director no longer works for us.
But you have the power and the authority to reinstate a new Director General. Surely you have the authority to ensure that these investigations are properly conducted.
No, I don't have the power. I'm not an executive chairman. I'm chairman of a board. The executive function lies solely with the Director General and his staff and the ministry. Chairmen of boards don't have hands-on responsibility for incidents of that kind, and the only thing you can do is make absolutely certain, A, the training is improved, 2, the vigilance is sustained, and 3, if you find incidents of this kind, you jump on it pretty hard, and you make it absolutely clear that sort of behaviour is unacceptable.
Is this a priority for the Director General and his staff?
Well, I think it's one of many priorities, my friend.
How long have you known about the alleged human rights violations?
Oh, has it been in my mind every day since I became chairman? No, but as soon as I learned about it, I insisted the director go up and deal with it. But I was not given a report that was satisfactory in terms of there being a conclusion. It was confirmed that there had been these allegations. It was confirmed that people had acted inappropriately. But more than that, I have no personal knowledge.
Do you think it's hypocritical to stage an event that glorifies the work of the KWS when you know what's going on behind closed doors?
I think that's a typically sensational media question. If you were suggesting that we shouldn't have tried to stop the ivory trade where people do get killed and violations do occur, because we're still worrying about an incident that happened before my watch. You're talking about chalk and cheese.
I don't agree with your point that it's sensational, because in Kinner alone we've heard testimony that suggests that there were as many as 14 disappearances from surrounding communities. The message is the same. Do you think that there is a culture of impunity that exists within the Kenya Wildlife Service?
Now? No, I don't think there's a culture of impunity whatsoever. Has there been in the past?
Then what's changed?
I've come back as chairman and I have a new director general.
Who you say has not
I think your
made
question's
these
impertinent.
investigations?
Let's stop the discussion now. I've had enough of you, so piss off.
You told us,
No.
Mr. Leakey, you
No.
told us when we last came here that you were a man of integrity.
I'm not listening to your conversation.
You told us that the leader of
Piss
the
off.
KWS needs to be a man of integrity.
You're here for sensation. Now get out. I'm not answering your question.
I'm asking if the Kenya
Get
Wildlife
out.
Service will investigate the
This
claims.
interview's over.
Is there a human price to pay for animal conservation?
Of course there is. Idiot. You are an idiot.
Is that an acceptable price to pay?
I'm getting out of here. Out.
Yes,
Out.
yes, let's just stand up, stand up.
Do you believe that's an
No,
acceptable
please,
price to
please,
pay,
please,
Mr.
please,
Leakey?
please, please.